Everybody, it's Joanne Musa, and we are live on Facebook. And this is Ask the Tax Lien Lady Live, where you get to ask me about your questions about investing in tax liens and tax deeds, and I answer them for you. So before we get started, I do have some questions for you today. And I'm hoping everybody can see me and hear me. That is on Facebook. And that we're doing this to the right page, my business page on Facebook, which is at facebook.com/tax lien investing tips. So just let me know who's here and where you're from so that I can best answer your questions, because tax lien investing is different in every state. And as I said, I have some questions for you today, and I want to know, first of all, who are you? Are you a tax lien investor, a tax deed investor, or a redeemable deed investor? And are you somebody who wants to invest but didn't get started yet? So let me know. That's my first question for you. And hello, Clayton. Good to have you here. And my second question for you guys is, what is your biggest challenge when it comes to investing in tax liens or tax deeds? If you haven't got started yet, why not? So I kind of want to know what I can best help you with today. All right. Hi, Catherine. Good to see you here from California. And Clay, you're from New Jersey. Okay, awesome. California is a tough state, Catherine, because they sell deeds and property is very pricey in California, and it has to be like 3 years delinquent before it even goes to tax sale. So even the minimum bid is pretty high in California. And it's very competitive, especially now during COVID. Okay, Clay is a commercial realtor, and you have purchased liens in the past. Very good, Clay. New Jersey liens, I'm assuming. Let me know if that's the case. And Andrew from Texas. Hello, Andrew. Good to see you. Guess what? Our next live virtual training, our next live virtual workshop is going to be on Texas. And I'll have information for you about that soon. Still getting that to the registration page together for that. It is, well, there's two ways you could be part of that. First of all, if you become a member of the Tax Lien Profits Accelerator, you could get into all the workshops we do for free, and you get the recorded workshops that we've already done, and there's 6 of them so far. You'll get access to all of them if you become a member of the Tax Lien Profits Accelerator. And I don't know if Nicole is with us yet, but when she gets here, I'll just have her post the link for the Tax Lien Profits Accelerator for you. The other way is just to buy the workshop. The workshop is $149 to be in the live workshop. After that, it's usually put into a course that's more money. So the best way to do it is to get into the live workshop. And if you can't be there live, you'll always get the recordings. And our next workshop is scheduled for December 13th. It is with the expert on Texas tax sales, and that is Arnie Abramson, and myself. We'll be doing it together. Okay, so Clay says, yes, you got tax liens in New Jersey, water and soil liens for 8%. Where did you go, Clay? Did you go to Patterson? Because there's only certain municipalities that will sell them at only 8%. Most municipalities will start the bidding at 18%, even for water and sewer liens. There's only a couple that will only let you get 8% on those. So let me know where you got them at. Oh, and Andrew says he'll be there at the workshop. Yeah, nice. It'll be good to see you there, Andrew. Okay, so for any of you who just came in, I have 2 questions for you. You guys know this is the time that I get to answer your questions about tax lien investing and tax deed investing. But today I have 2 questions for you. And one of them, Clay already answered for me. He's a tax lien investor. He's invested in New Jersey. I want to know, who are you? Not just your name and where you're from. I want to know, are you a tax lien investor? Are you a tax deed investor? Are you a redeemable tax deed investor? And are you somebody who hasn't invested yet and you're just getting started? Okay. And my other, so that's question number one. Question number two is, what is your biggest challenge with tax lien investing right now? Okay. So let's see what answers we've gotten to those questions. And Nicole's here. Hi, Nicole. And she has posted, she's posted a link for you for the membership at the Tax Lien Profits Accelerator. So if you want to get into our next training and get all our next workshop and get all the previous workshops that we've done, join the Tax Lien Profits Accelerator. It's $149 a month for the platinum membership that gives you access to all that, and it gives you access to a whole bunch of other stuff too. Okay. So Clayton, that was Morris County. That doesn't tell me anything, Clayton, because you know if you bought these in New Jersey that you don't go to the county tax sale. You go to the municipal tax sale. So you got to tell me what municipality. And Andrew says he's just getting started. And you're in a good state, Andrew, to start. I would definitely be on that next workshop that we do about Texas. So what's stopping you now from investing? So that's my next question. What is your biggest problem when it comes to tax lien investing? Hi, Sarah. Sarah says she's in PA. Yay, that's where I am, in PA. But I invest in liens in Florida, and I am investigating other areas. Where in PA, Sarah? Let me know. Okay. So what is your biggest challenge now? What's your biggest problem? Peter, hi, Peter. Just getting started. Want to start with New Jersey tax liens. Peter, have you been to any tax sales yet? Let me know. Okay, and if you guys have any other questions, put them in the comments. That's what I'm here for today. And after this, I am going to go vote. I went at 7. Did you vote yet? That's my next question. That's question number 3. Did you vote yet? I went to vote at 7 o'clock this morning, and there was a line. They opened up at 7, and there was a line forming that was going to be 1.5 to 2 hours. And it was about an hour and 45 minutes because my husband stayed in that line. But I had a 9 o'clock meeting this morning. I had a mastermind at 9 o'clock. So I could not wait in that line. So this is the last thing that I have to do today. And then I'm going to go get in that line and vote. And I might be there for the rest of the day. Okay. Okay, Peter says his problem is lack of education. And Sarah is in Montgomery County. Not a lot available in Montgomery County, Sarah. I will let you know that. You are not that far from New Jersey. And you have several tax liens in Florida so far. So how are they working for you? How old are those liens that you have? And Peter says he's in Allentown, PA. Okay. Yeah, we talked about this before, Peter. There's a couple of counties there. I would go to all the surrounding counties. Hi, Ray. Just getting started with tax liens and tax deeds, and I'm an experienced real estate investor. Okay. So what is your biggest problem with doing tax liens or tax deeds? Okay, we've already heard from somebody that says education. I can help you with that. Okay, join the Tax Lien Profits Accelerator. You'll get tons of education. Ray, you're bringing more people, huh? He always brings guests with him, at least for the last couple of times he has. And he's a real, so he brought Andrew and Catherine. Okay, great to see you guys. You are a real evangelist for tax liens and tax deeds. And I want to talk to you guys about something else. This is something that I'm doing, and it's personal. I'm putting together a website for somebody who contacted me about tax lien investing. He has a nonprofit. He is from India, and he preaches the gospel to the Indian people. A lot of these people are in mission villages that have never heard about Jesus. Okay, I don't know what your background is, what your religion is, and I love to find out about other religions. I love to study about the Hindu and Jewish religion. As a matter of fact, I found when I was doing research for my friend, Jonathan Paradisi, is the guy that I'm telling you about, I found a Christian Hindu ashram. It was actually founded by Catholic monks who have, they're still Catholic monks, but they have incorporated some of the Hindu spiritual practices. Like they're vegetarians, they do meditations, Hindu meditations. So it's really quite interesting. I'm very interested in that kind of stuff. But what I'm doing is I am setting up a nonprofit website. It's not done yet, so you can't go there yet, for his ministry in India. And in the future, I will be contributing whatever I take in from this business to that. And the name of the website, you can't go there yet because it's under construction, is worldmissionindia.org. So I just want to tell you guys about it because you'll be hearing about it in the future. But what I want you to know is, I don't know if you're aware of this, but many countries are kicking out Christians. They're getting rid of them, and they don't. As a matter of fact, my friend, Jonathan Paradisi, who preaches the gospel, he cannot have a Christian church. He cannot have a bank account for his ministry. They won't allow it. And many countries are doing this. Turkey is another country that is getting rid of Christians. They're trying to get them out of the country. They want to, of course, in Turkey, Islam is the national religion. In India, it's Hindu. And these Christians are under a lot of persecution. So pray for them. And I pray for all people that are under persecution for their faith, whether they are, because in communist countries, everybody's persecuted, the Muslims, the Christians, anybody that has a faith in something other than the government is persecuted, and they're not allowed to gather together for their faith, because that is treason. Just so that you guys are aware. I want you to be aware of that. Okay, so that was a little aside. I'm being a little vulnerable here and letting you know about my personal convictions. Okay. All right, so Sarah says, I have a few that I'm still waiting on the redemption period still. I have filed 2 DDAs so far. Very good. What counties did you file your TDAs in? One that I'm really excited about, another that is a bit of a disaster. All right, how can I help you with that, Sarah? Let me know. All right, because I have one of my clients who is also doing TDAs in Florida, actually in Polk and Hillsborough County. Now, for a while, what has happened in Florida because of COVID is they weren't doing any deed sales. You could apply, do the TDAs, but they weren't actually doing deed sales from like April through last month. And now these deed sales are actually going on. However, you're going to find out when you do the TDAs and they actually go into the deed sale, some of them are just going to redeem. The good properties will redeem. Okay. And Sarah says, one of my questions today is about other states besides Florida. Is there an equivalent to the roll-up in other states, and how do I calculate it if it is different. Well, in other states, what they do, see, just for everybody else, in Florida, you don't get to pay subsequent taxes until you do the TDA. And then everything rolls up at 18%. Every state is different. In New Jersey, you get to pay the subsequent taxes. If the owner doesn't pay them, you get to pay them. So you could prevent it from going into the sale the next year. All right. And in a lot of other states, you could do that as well. But in New Jersey, you get the maximum rate like you do in Florida when you do the TDA. Only you could do it sooner. You don't have to wait until the redemption period's over. So you could start putting away money and letting it accrue at 18%. Okay. In other states, and I'm not going to go into all states. I don't carry all that knowledge up here, but it is in my state guide. In Arizona, you only get what you bid at the sale on your subsequent taxes, but you do get to pay them. So every state is different. Okay. And Nicole is giving me a question from Clayton. What is your go-to method to recording your owed interest across all your liens? Do you use a paper ledger, Excel? You calculate daily interest. For New Jersey, yes, New Jersey is the only state that does interest daily. All the others do it either monthly or in some even longer periods than that, okay? But most states it's done monthly, okay? In New Jersey, it's done daily. I use a software program that is customized for New Jersey, and unfortunately, it's not available right now. The owner has stopped supporting it and stopped selling it. But you could do it with an Excel spreadsheet. That's what I would use. Okay, so Sarah is telling me Broward County and Walton County are the counties that she has liens in. And Sarah, did you buy these at the tax sale? Oh, and thank you for answering my question. Okay, her biggest challenge is how to prioritize and most efficiently use my time. Okay, Sarah, I need you to qualify that for me a little bit more. How to prioritize your time for what exactly? For investing in tax liens, for doing your due diligence, for what? For deciding what liens to bid on. So just give me an idea of prioritize your time for what exactly. Okay. Peter says he's in the process of setting up a Wyoming LLC for future tax liens. Why, Peter? Why are you doing that? There's actually no reason to do that, and it's going to cost you money. Not only do you have to pay money to have your Wyoming tax lien LLC set up, but you have to hire somebody to take your mail for you in Wyoming. There's absolutely no reason to do it for liens. And if you tell me privacy, I'm going to say, why do you need privacy? First of all, there's no such thing. And second of all, nobody's going to find out about your tax liens. They can do a credit check on you. They're not going to find out about your tax liens. So why do you want a Wyoming LLC? Because some expert told you you need one? I don't have one. I do have a client who has a Wyoming LLC, but that's because he's in Great Britain. He's in England, and he does need somebody here to get his mail for him. And he does need a US LLC. But here's the thing with your Wyoming LLC. What if your Wyoming LLC wants to buy liens in Indiana? Do you know that Wyoming LLC is going to have to register in Indiana to buy tax liens? And then they're going to have to be certified that they don't owe any taxes. Do you know if you do that in your own personal name, you don't have to do either of those things? You just sign up and go to a sale and buy liens. But if you do it in the name of an LLC and it's from another state, you've got to register in that state and you've got to certify that you don't owe any taxes there. So Yeah, not something you need to do. So if that's what's stopping you, and this is for everybody, if what's stopping you from investing in tax liens is you don't have an LLC, don't let that stop you. Invest in your own name. That's how I got started. I invested in my own name. Okay, Sarah says some of her liens were purchased on the secondary market, some OTC, and some at the tax sale. And let me guess, Sarah, the one that you say is a disaster, the one that you're having a problem with was an OTC. Am I right? Let me know. And let me know about that prioritizing question too. Yeah, Peter says, I guess that's why I'm here. Peter, that's why you need to be in the Tax Lien Profits Accelerator. And Nicole had put a link. If you go in the comments, Nicole had put a link in to the Tax Lien Profits Accelerator to find out more about it, all the benefits that you have there. They are a lot. You actually get a group coaching call with me. It's like this, only it's an hour, and I show you my screen, and I can even take your questions live. Let you talk. Yeah, right. And Sarah says you can always set up an LLC and transfer your property to the LLC after the fact if you wind up acquiring. So yeah, when you get the property, then you might want to put it in an LLC for protection, for liability, but you don't need that when it's a lien. Oh, the disaster was a secondary lien. Oh, did you do your due diligence on that secondary lien before you bought it? Tell me about why you think it's a disaster. Okay, and she also has liens in Orange, Duval, and Brevard. Walton and Broward are where I have filed the TDAs so far. Okay. Yeah, so let me know about your challenge of prioritizing your time. Give me more information about that. And why is that a challenge for you right now? And I'm looking back at questions that you put in earlier, and I see that one of your questions was about other states besides Florida. Is there an equivalent to the roll-up? Oh, I think I already answered that in the other states. And how do I calculate it if it is different? And again, it is different in every state. Okay, so I think I got the questions that were asked earlier. And Nicole, you could check for me, make sure I got all the questions that were asked earlier. And let's see what, okay, we've got a couple of things that Peter says, that was the purpose of the LLC, buy and hold real estate. Yeah. And so you could do the LLC to hold the real estate, but I would wait, Peter, because if you're investing, first of all, if you're investing in New Jersey, it's a 2-year redemption time, and you're not likely to get property. You are not likely to get property from liens in New Jersey. I've been doing this for 15 years, and I started foreclosure on a couple, but I didn't get them. And any properties that I could have gotten, I walked away from. That's how bad they were. There were a couple of instances where I did not do my homework and I walked away. So anything that is good, I've had 2 burnt out properties redeem. Okay. I've got another one that I could start foreclosure on that I probably will start foreclosure on. I might get that one. But, I've been in this game for 15 years, so don't count on it. Sarah says now it's a little bit easier in other states, but when you're talking about the Northeast and good areas in the Northeast where the property is valuable, it's not likely. Okay, it's a little more likely in certain areas in Indiana, and Florida. Okay. All right. Sarah says, with regards to prioritizing, it is mostly about what I should do on a daily basis. There are only so many hours in a day, and I can easily spend hour after hour doing any one step of the process. I think what you need, Sarah, is a software program to help you. Like the one that I use for New Jersey. It helps a lot. It is customized for New Jersey. It's also customized for Florida, but unfortunately it's not available right now. So what I do recommend, so for tracking that part, that you would have to set up your own system. But for doing your due diligence, there is a system for finding out what tax sales are coming up around the country. And for doing your due diligence, I do have 2 tools that I give to my Tax Lien Profits Accelerator members. And they both work for Florida. Well, one of them works for all over the country, and that's Tax Sale Resources, where you can find out what tax sales are coming up around the country. The other one is called Lien Point, and that's where they actually let you look at the properties and see all the data to do your due diligence. And that really helps, and that works very good with Florida. Okay. And Nicole says, I've got to all the questions so far that were asked earlier. Okay, and Sarah's telling us a little bit about the disaster is for a couple of reasons. One is that Walton put all sorts of additional fees on top of the TDA fee that were not mentioned or available until after the TDA was filed. Then COVID happened. And now the TDA is in some weird state of limbo. Yeah. Let's see what else this says. It doesn't show as filed, and it doesn't show as able to file. Did you try calling Walton? Calling the county? What's happening in Florida is a lot of these county offices are not opened. Which is why some of them did not do deed sales. However, they still did the TDAs. Where did you do your TDA for Walton? Did you do it on Lien Hub or on Real Auction, or did they have their own site to do it? Yeah, and this is not a disaster. It's just a hurdle that you have to clear. You know, it's just a roadblock. It's not a disaster. Here's the disaster. The property itself is a bit of a disaster because what the city told me and what the county told me are 2 different things, and both have restricted buildability on the property. Is there a building on the property, or is it vacant? So your responsibility right now as the investor is to find out what you can do with that property if you do get it. Because if it can't be built on, you probably will get it. And then what do? Okay, it's on Real Auction. That's Real Auction's problem right there. So I would call Real Auction as well as the county and find out what's going on with that limbo. You want to call Real Auction and say, has this been done? Has this TDA been done? And if not, why can't I do it? And then you want to call Walton and say, did you get this TDA? All right, so you called them and you called the county and spoke to multiple people. They told me to just reapply, but there's no option available to do that. It's vacant commercial land. I would start looking for a buyer now because that's going to be a hard sell. There's restrictions. You have to find out what those restrictions are that can be built on there. Because how do you find a buyer if you don't know who you can sell to? So I would start looking for a buyer now. Then I would also, let's see who you would have to talk to at the county. You called Real Auction and the county? Well, you need to call Real Auction again and tell them that the county told you you have to reapply and they have to let you reapply. That would be my thing to do. Now, if none of that works, I'm not an attorney, okay? If none of that works, you might have to get a Florida attorney, but I wouldn't do that just yet. I'd kind of wait it out a little bit. Are they actually doing deed sales in Walton? Because some counties might not have started doing their deed sales yet. Yeah, that's right, Jean. Vacant commercial land can be difficult. That's why you have to find your buyer now, Sarah. Find your buyer now. As a matter of fact, you can even advertise it on eBay, but first you have to find out what could be built there before you advertise it. And then you're going to advertise to those type of developers that build those type. For instance, there's certain developers that build hotels that want to build. There are certain developers that will build office buildings. There's certain developers that will build multi-unit residential buildings. You need to find out what can be built there. What about storage units? You know, that kind of thing. So you need to find out what can be built there and then start marketing it now just to see if there's an interest. Okay, so that is part of the issue. The city and the county had different answers to what I could do with the land. How different are their answers? Did they have any intersection at all? Or were they like that far apart? If they're that far apart, yeah, you're in trouble. I would go with what the city says, the local government. They're really the jurisdiction. What months are New Jersey tax liens still? Oh, Peter, how long ago did you get your tax liens? Don't you know that New Jersey can have tax liens all year long? Every municipality gets to pick when they want to have their tax lien sale. They only have one a year, but it can be any time they want. But I will tell you that this is a big time of year for tax liens, and some of them have been postponed due to COVID, and they're having them now. November and December is one of the biggest months of the year. Okay. And again, Tax Lien Profits Accelerator members get access to tax sale resources where they can find out what tax sales are coming up all over the country and when they're going to be. Sarah is talking about Florida. And that was because Ray asked about what state we were talking about. And yeah, they're not doing sales yet. That's why you're in limbo, Sarah. Once they start doing sales, then I would wait to do that until they start doing sales again. And then if you don't see that tax deed application actually went through, I would call Real Auction and say, hey, the county told me I need to reapply and you guys are not giving me the option to do that. Okay. All right. So that's it. I think I've answered all the questions, Nicole, that I've got. And so let me ask another question. Oh, all right, Sarah. They both agree you could build a service-based business like a professional office. They disagree about retail stores or convenience stores. Yeah, guess what? I don't think retail stores or convenience stores are going to do very good right now anyway. A professional office would be the thing, because think about it. Now, after COVID, a lot of people are not going to go back to work. A lot of these companies have figured out that people can work from home, right? Except for professional offices like doctors. People still have to go to the doctor. Dentists, people are still going to the dentist. Get your hair cut. People still go to get their hair cut. So professional office, that's what I would market it as, a potential site for a professional office. Yeah, and yeah, Sarah is talking about Walton County, Florida, Ray. So, all right. So I have a question for you guys. What would you be most interested in? Like, our next workshop is going to be on Texas tax sales. But what is it that that you'd be most interested in? What would you most like to learn about? Let me know. And while we're doing that, I just want to remind you, we have a wealth building webinar coming up next week, the 11th, which is also Veterans Day, on debt reduction, how to pay off your mortgage in 5 to 7 years and get rid of your credit card debt in 1/4 to 1/3 of the time that it would normally take you. So that is next month. And Nicole, yeah, next month. It's not next month, it's next week. Next month, we're going to have a wealth building webinar on the Texas tax sales ahead of our workshop. So if you guys have questions and you don't know if that workshop is something you want to do or not, we're going to have a webinar beforehand so you can find out. But this month, November 11th, is our wealth building webinar on debt reduction. Now, why are we doing that? Because guess what? Yours truly needs that too. All right. Nicole can put in the link for the debt reduction workshop. Oh, I see. There's a problem with the size of the lot too. Yeah, and so you need a builder who knows how to deal with variances. Basically, they fight the local government until they get it. Oh, Sarah says she'd be interested in a workshop specifically on investing in utility liens in New Jersey and other places that do them. Okay. Peter says New Jersey liens. Okay. And Nicole has put the link for you guys in for our next wealth building workshop on debt reduction. All right, any other questions for me before we end our call today? I have to go vote. Don't forget to vote. Just waiting to see if there's any other questions or comments come in. And I will be here next week at 2 o'clock. And if you think of something that over the week, you can email it to me and we'll save it for this Facebook Live, or you can just jot it down and wait for our next Facebook Live and I'll answer it for you then. Thank you for joining me. It's no fun without you. Okay, and Ray says, I want to learn several states, starting with South Carolina for deeds and like Alabama for tax liens that are 3 years old and about to become. I don't recommend Alabama. Do you know that they are not investor friendly, and recently they actually negated some tax sales. So I really don't recommend Alabama. If you live there, that's a different thing. My friends here in Alabama tell me that if it goes 3 years and becomes a tax deed, they are often not redeemed, and I can immediately possess it to rent it out. Okay, here's my thing about Alabama. If you want to invest in Alabama, that's fine. Invest in vacant properties, okay? Because if people live there, they can make life hard for you in Alabama. The judges are going to lean toward, if people live there, they're going to lean towards letting them keep their home and not giving you anything. That's just what I've seen as far as legal stuff in Alabama. That's why I stay away from it. Plus, it's kind of far from me anyway, although I wouldn't mind going to Texas. I have looked into Texas. Oh, Ray, you need to be on our next workshop about Texas with Arnie Abramson, because I know you've worked on Texas for 10 years and got zero, but Arnie is the expert and he can actually do the work for you. All right. Yeah, you'll pay for it, but you'll get, one of my clients a few years ago got a rental property from him. See, the thing about Texas is you own the property when you get the deed, and you could start renting it out immediately. You could start collecting rents immediately. So you could get cash flow on those Texas properties. All right, but you got to do your due diligence, and that's where the rub is. Most of those sales are live, and you got to do your due diligence, and that's what my friend Arnie has a whole team that can do that stuff for you, okay? Are tax sales mostly over this year? No, I just said earlier in this call, New Jersey, December is the biggest year. I mean, the biggest month, the biggest year. December is the biggest, one of the biggest. June and December are two of the biggest months of the year for tax lien sales in New Jersey. However, June, they were all postponed, all the ones that weren't online. So now you even have more right now than you did. So no, they're not over. And they're still going on in South Carolina. The redeemable deed sales still going on in South Carolina. And Sarah says, one question I have, how do you budget for possible repairs on residential properties since you can't see the inside of them? You expect the worst. That's how you budget for them. Yeah, and Ray says he agrees with me, 100% vacant only, but the problem is they're vacant for a long time in Alabama before you get them, Ray. So they're just, so just be careful is all I got to say. If you live in Alabama, it's one thing, then I would do it. But since I don't, I do not. When is the Texas workshop? It is December 13th. I'll have more information coming soon for that. Check my website at taxlienlady.com in the next couple of days for the information on that. Working on Texas right now. Okay, good. Some counties in Texas have sales every month. Yes, you do need a lot of money for Texas because you are actually bidding the property, and when you get that deed, even though it's a redeemable deed, you're the owner of the property. So yeah, at least $40,000, Peter. That's about right. Do you do the same amount of due diligence as you do for a deed with redeemable deeds? Yes, you do, especially in Texas. You're actually the owner of the property when you get the deed. And for liens, no, I don't. For liens in New Jersey, no, I don't. All right. That's all the last minute questions that came in. Thank you very much. And I do recommend that you become a member of the Tax Lien Profits Accelerator. Yeah, and make a note of December 13th. It's a Sunday. I usually have these workshops on Sunday because that doesn't interfere with work days for people. And it doesn't, I have some Jewish students that are conservative or Hasidic Jews, and they don't do anything on Saturday. So I like to have these workshops on Sundays so that everybody can come in the afternoon, so that people want to go to church in the morning can do that. So it's from 1 to 3 Eastern time. I know that's earlier Pacific time. It's 10 a.m. So sorry about that. But I also want to make it early enough so that people overseas, I have students in Italy and in England, so I want them to be able to come too. So anyway, thank you very much for letting me serve you today and answer your questions about tax lien investing, and I look forward to doing this for you next week. Bye. As soon as I find my controls, here we go. Bye now.